Austria has become the first European Union country to make vaccination against COVID-19 compulsory for all adults. Parliament approved the mandate with effect from February the 1st. Officials say it's needed to boost the vaccination rate. Currently, around 72% of the population is fully vaccinated. Pregnant women, people with medical reasons, and those who've recovered from the infection within the past 6 months are exempt. The federal government has also announced that it will introduce a national lottery with a financial reward to encourage people to get their doses. France, meanwhile, is introducing a vaccine passport to enter many venues and events from Monday. The health minister and prime minister also announced that from February, many restrictions will be lifted for those who are vaccinated or recovering from a recent coronavirus infection. 74.7% of people over the age of 5 have had both jabs. However, cases have surged in recent weeks. On Thursday, the country recorded over 425,000 new COVID-19 cases, but the number of patients in intensive care units is now stabilizing. Joining us now from Paris is our international correspondent, Annelies Borges. Good evening, Annelies, and good to see you. So, on Monday, the new, more restrictive vaccination pass will come into effect. What does it mean for people in France?
Hi there, Stefan. Well, what this effectively means is that those who have chosen not to get a jab will be barred from a variety of public venues here in this country, including bars, cafes, restaurants, cinema theaters, all so important to French culture. Up until now, the French could access these places by showing a health pass that included a negative PCR test or proof that they had recently recovered from COVID-19. Now, that is no longer the case. Starting next week, they will have to show a fully vaccinated certificate. So all those people who are eligible to a booster shot will also need that booster shot start next week to be able to continue a somewhat normal life. However, there are some exemptions to that rule. People who have recently recovered from COVID-19, which is my case, for example, will not need a booster shot in the near future. And those who have proof from health authorities here in this country that they cannot be vaccinated, they will also be able to frequent these, to continue going to these places for now at least. The French Prime Minister has also once again reinforced the importance of this pass, a pass that has stirred a passionate debate here in this country, a divisive debate on that. On one side, proponents of this idea and members of the government saying that vaccination is really the only tool this country has to fight the pandemic. On the other hand, critics saying that that is basically proof that the French government has done nothing or very little to invest in the public health care sector. For example, everyone here in recent weeks remembering that Emmanuel Macron had promised to triple the capacity in ICUs across this country. This has not happened so far. Jean Castex insisting that vaccines are very important and very safe, and announcing also that the booster program will be open from children from the ages of 12 to 17 starting next week as well, and encouraging parents to go and get a booster shot for their kids.
But some restrictions are to be lifted, as we've heard. What more can you tell us?
Indeed, a long list of good news from Jean Castex today, talking about these restrictions. For example, from February the 2nd, masks will no longer be mandatory outdoors here in France. Remote working will no longer be advised, and there will be no limits in public gatherings anymore. Nightclubs will reopen from February the 16th, and other restrictions, at least for now, will remain in place. According to Jean Castex, for example, there is no date for the lifting of masks indoors. That remains a restriction that will continue to be adopted across France. The French Prime Minister says that he hopes more restrictions will be lifted and that we will be able to live a normal life in the near future. But he says these are uncharted waters. That is something, this pandemic continues to surprise us, and he asked the French to remain cautious, but of course to continue on with these responsible manners, and of course once again to get vaccinated if they haven't done so yet.